It is imperative that whatever you do, you don't lose your mind during this debate, this discussion, this investigation as to the horrors that are going on right now involving Hamas and Israel and the people of Gaza and the Middle East. You must be able to fungibly, notice how they've just investigated or discovered the word fungible, the fungible deposition of monies in the Iranian accounts, the fungible funds that are available. Now it's just like with ouster with Kevin McCarthy. You've got to be able to look at and separate the various issues simultaneously. Does that make sense to you? Does this make sense? I don't understand what the debate is. I don't understand, frankly, for me. Tell me that what they did, that what was alleged to have been done to children, tell me this is a mistake. Tell me it's a lie. Tell me it's not true. Tell me I don't share DNA with people who would do this to children. Tell me this is a mistake. Tell me it's an exaggeration. Tell me this. And we must be careful in specifically stating that which was done due to algorithmic sensitivities that I labor under. This is barbaric. It is axiomatic. There's no need to even say that whatever your thoughts are regarding war efforts, political positioning, settlements, sieges, civil rights fight, whatever it is, whatever you think, whatever your thoughts are, nothing warrants that brutality. This is axiomatic. It goes without saying. There's no need. I don't even know why, but I try to explain to people, okay, now that we've addressed this, and now that we've come to the understanding that this is specifically and critically and important for you to understand this thing, the horrors of this, may we move on to discuss other matters as well. Is that difficult to ask? Is that do we just say yes, but look what they did to the children? Yes, I understand that. I agree. It's not subject to debate. I don't understand. Am I missing something here? Who's debating whether, aside from some idiot at Harvard, which we'll get to in a moment, where is the argument? Where is any of this coming from that deals with a debate as to this? Let me tell you this story about today. This is my story today. You're not going to believe this, but before we begin, let me just say this. Dear friends, first and foremost, and I've been a bit reluctant on this, I ask you to like this video. I haven't been doing this, and I know it's a pain in the ass, always asking people, can you like this video? But please, it really means a lot to us, tremendously. Number two, I ask you to subscribe to the channel. I think I asked you. Like the video, of course. And remember, we have right now a very, very important and critical sponsor. That is probably more poignant and more applicable now than ever. And that is our friends at preparewithlionel.com. This is for food preparation. May we never, ever see anything even similar to what is happening in the Middle East or other countries as well. But if we had 1% of that, 1/10, it would be catastrophic if we could not get to stores for a week. Preparewithlionel.com. Take advantage of the deal of deals, 25% off a 3-month emergency food kit. Preparewithlionel.com. Go to the site, see for yourself. Look at this. This has a 25-year shelf life. This has a 21 different varieties, breakfast, lunches, dinners, and the like, to keep you ready to go for 3 months. And you need one of these per person in your home. It's called emergency food. Preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. Now, let me tell you the story. You're going to love this one. I've been very, very clear. Very, very clear. Very. I'm a person who likes to cover all the different angles of this. Number one, let's talk about what's happening to the children. Number two, the poor people of Gaza, not Hamas. Gaza. The Palestinian people. The Israeli people. The people. The Russian people. The Ukrainian people. The Crimean people. The people. The people who are not part of the Politburos and the Senates and the Knessets. And no, the people who have to suffer this, the people who are scared, the people who are kidnapped, the people who are in the crossfire, the people whose homes are leveled and destroyed when Hamas decides to go in and say, we're going to send rockets from your building and we're going to come into your home and we're going to use you as a human shield. And I know they do that because they do. And then this family has their home leveled or their neighborhood leveled. And we can talk about this all day long. Why is it necessary? Is it exaggerated? We can do. All I know is there are people whose my heart goes out, my empathy, my sympathy, my compassion goes to people, irrespective. I don't care who they are. Jew, Gentile, doesn't matter. I don't care. Muslim, it doesn't matter. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm compartmentalizing. Total disgust for what Hamas did to these children and others and kidnapping and the like. Irrespective, that's number one. Number two, complete and total compassion and sympathy and empathy and a sense of horror on behalf of anybody who is caught in this. And number three, the intractability, basically the insolubility of the Middle East and this particular area, because they're never going to get this thing figured out. Never. It's never going to happen. I think that's clear. I think it's clear. I think I've covered it. I got this letter. I have a friend of mine who I would mention his name, but I'm not. But you would recognize him, somewhat famous. Well, not somewhat, very famous, very well known, very, very well known. All of a sudden, I went to his Twitter, and we're buddies, and I'm blocked, So I sent him a screenshot. I said something I said because sometimes maybe it was done in error. I've been blocked by David Crosby, Keith Olbermann, Kimberly Guilfoyle, Don Jr.'s one. Oh yeah, I've got this unique hodgepodge, David Crosby, and somebody else. I forget this other one. Anyway, so I've been. I think Kate. Anyway, so I thought maybe it's a mistake. Okay, so I sent it to my friend. I said, hey, maybe something I said. I'm thinking it was a mistake. Let me tell you the letter I got back. Quote. Again, I'm not going to tell you who it is. Quote. With regret, old friend, but Palestine is a red line for me. If we survive World War III, hope we reconnect someday. P.S. Armageddon is only 40 minutes away from Gaza. Farewell. What the hell does this have to do with me? What? Huh? What did I say? Palestine has a red line? Okay. And what? What about it? I don't understand. We're losing our minds. What did I say? Again, I'm not losing any sleep over this. What did I say? If you're my friend and you are pro-Palestinian, pro-Israel, anti-Israel, I know people who are absolutely positively, I mean, it's not a problem, but I don't agree with them at all. Politically, philosophically, nothing. And it doesn't matter to me. They're my friend. What did I, again, I ask this rhetorically because I don't give a damn, but what did I say? This is nuts. This is crazy. Have you not been in a war before? Have you not dealt with this? Have you never been in the position where you've had to deal with two things? Remember what Scott Fitzgerald said. The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in mind at the same time and still remain and retain the ability to function. I don't understand this. Have you not been able to compartmentalize thoughts? Vietnam, hate the war, support the soldiers. These are our American soldiers. What they're doing was horrible, but they were ordered to do so. But we did it. But what are we supposed to do? Look what Israel's doing. Look what we did. We dropped 2 atom bombs. It doesn't matter. What do you mean it matters? Wait a minute. Hold it. I've been going this through my whole life. I've got a friend of mine today. He's a Russian Jew. And he is like screaming. And he says, do you know what they did to us in Ukraine? I said, what the hell are you yelling at me for? I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing. What are you doing? What the hell's going on here? Where are we? Do you not understand this? I said, do you not want to hear what people in Gaza have to say? No. You don't? You don't have any interest in it? No. What about, I said, wait a minute, wait. What? Wait a minute. What about the settlers? What about the settlers? Which settlers? What about in the West Bank? Well, it's different. What do you mean it's a West Bank? Ask somebody in the West Bank what they think about Israeli settlers. Get their opinion. You don't have to agree with them. Don't you want to know what it is? No. Wait a minute. What? You don't want to know? What? There's no such thing as Manichaean. There's no such thing as good and bad and good guys. There's nuance and there's gray. Remember, there's gray. It's called Keep America Gray Again. Make America Gray Again. There's gray. Don't you understand what's going on? Don't you understand? If you brought 2 people, I would love to have 2 people sitting in the same room. I saw a fascinating interview with Lex Friedman and Jared Kushner. And I wish I could get Jared Kushner to sit across from this Palestinian expert and let them talk simultaneously. No screaming, no yelling. Jared, you say something and you say something. You say something. Jared, tell him about 2005. Tell him about 2005. Tell them when you said you wanted your own test. Okay, we're getting out. We're getting out. We're getting out. We're this Gaza's in basically. We're leaving. Here, you have your own thing. You whatever it is. Yeah, but you have checkpoints. Yeah, because we are letting stuff in, and instead of you having this is what they were saying, concrete and this and top pipe and for plumbing and for infrastructure, you're making bombs. We're not going to let you arm yourself. We're not going to have it. Well, what do you say to that, Mr. Palestinian? What about that, Mr. Kushner? What do you say? What these are very good points. Don't you want to hear them? No. What are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? If there are people, let me ask you something. If a bunch of bad people come to your home and use your home as a cover to start shooting people, shooting the cops, shooting, innocent people, what do you think they're going to do to your house? And perhaps you. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen ultimately? What happens? This is what happens. There are bad people who do bad things. Hamas has nothing to do with the poor people of Gaza. Now, some may like it. They may agree. Do you see what's happening here? Do you see what's happening? Do you understand the nuance, the complexities of this? Embrace the complexity. Gaza was called the Singapore of the Middle East. What happened to that one? Golda Meir said this, and it's a great line. If the Arabs put down their weapons today, there would be peace. If the Jews put down their weapons today, there would be annihilation. It's true. Whether you like it or not, it's true. The rules of decorum don't apply. This is reality. I'm sorry. You may not like that. Do you think Israel's going to leave? No. Do you think anybody is going to just leave? Listen, I am telling you, get ready for this. But I will tell you one thing which I find to be absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. And that is simply this. There is a new brand of folks who, by the way, this is the nicest thing. Look at this. Liz Solak says, Lionel has plenty of friends. He has all of us. Thank you, Liz. And by the way, this isn't the first time. I have lost more friends, more than you can imagine, with Trump. Again, I'm the Trump spokesperson. I get Trump. I still don't know what the hell I said about Palestine. I don't even know. I'm getting people. My friend, my Russian friend, he's getting mad. He said, "What do you care about, guys?" I care about what people have to say. You have to hear what they say. You have to hear what people. I don't understand this. But here's the best part. And maybe you've seen this before, dear friends. Dear, wonderful, beautiful, glorious, beautiful friends. You're my family. You're everything to me. You're wonderful. You're gracious and glorious. And you're fabulous and great and all that. At Harvard, I despise Harvard. I despise the name. I despise everything about Yale's close. But Harvard, I despise it. It does something to me. Because the Harvard of Thurston Howell ain't the same anymore. That vaunted, glorious institution of the academe, I should say. No, gone. Now it's just, I don't even know what the hell it's about. I don't know what the hell it's about, but all of a sudden, these smart-ass big shots who said, we're Harvard, we are immune from the realities of free. We can say whatever we want. Screw you. We're Harvard. We can do and say what we want. So they came out with these stories that were, look, lonely, 1-800-LIONEL now. Thank you. That made my day. Thank you for that. You're a genius and you're demented, and I love you for that. Thank you. So what they did was they wrote these articles basically blaming Israel for Hamas. I mean, just this nuts. And they signed their names. And we're the Filipino Law Society, or we're the, cuneiform cryptographers for Palestinian justice, Harvard chapter, Harvard Society, Taipei legal, but they just love, everybody's got their own 300. And Bill Ackman, the big hedge funder, said, I want to know everybody's name who signed that and let me know so we can make sure they never work on Wall Street again. Whoa, hey, wait a minute. And they doubled down. They went berserk. Hey, no, that's not us. No, get our name off that. No. Wait a minute, you signed it. Oh, we didn't know what we were doing. Oh, come on, big shot. Say something. I think you just been canceled. You didn't mind when we were canceled. Now you're canceled. Oh, no. No, you wanted us canceled. You wanted us canceled when we said we didn't agree with you about COVID. You wanted us canceled, and you wanted us booted and shut down and shut up. And You wouldn't let people talk. How many times did you see Ben Shapiro at a college campus? Dear God. I hope that routine's over with. But anyway, even Ben Shapiro, nobody could speak. Nobody, you were a pain in the ass. You were awful. And now you signed this. You went to Harvard or will go to Harvard. You're geniuses. You know what you're doing. Oh, no, 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 no. Wait a minute. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Oh, no, we made a big, well, I don't know about that. I find this is so funny. This is so funny. A dozen CEOs, um, at least a dozen business executives have endorsed Bill Ackman's call to deny hiring members of student groups at Harvard who signed on to a letter blaming Israel for Hamas's deadly attack on Saturday that killed more than 1,200 people, including at least 22 Americans. Jonathan Newman, the CEO of salad chain Sweet Green, was among a group of business honchos who seconded Ackman in urging that the signatories of the letter circulated by a coalition of 34 Harvard student groups who, quote, hold the Israeli regime entirely responsible for all unfolding violence. I would like to know, so I know never to hire these people. Same David Duell, CEO of healthcare services from Easy Health. The backlash and possible blacklisting has led to a flurry of backpedaling by 4 of the initial student organizations attached to the inflammatory statement, while board members of other groups have quit to distance themselves. Late Tuesday, 17 other Harvard groups joined around 500 faculty and staff and 3,000 others in signing a counter statement attacking the other group's letter as completely wrong. I think they bounced the New York Law School group. They got rid of her. Oh, yeah. It's wonderful. I think it's terrific. Now, why do I like it? Because payback's a bitch. And I understand that people don't like other. I know that people get upset. And I know when you're young and you say some stuff. I love this. This is so great. Canceled? 1-800-Lionel now. Thank you so much. You're beautiful. See, I love this. This to me is one of those things that is just. Now, how many of you, dear friends, have actually just read, learned, listened to the history of the Middle East from 1948, 1967, Gaza, 2005, 73, the settlements, the West Bank, the intifadas, all this story, Hezbollah, these names, just the groups. Listen to this. There are 60 plus, quote, terrorist groups. And by the way, terrorist, you must admit, is always some might say a bit pejorative, but I think for the sake of, all right, but we're going to agree with this. There are 60 plus terrorist groups designated by the U.S. State Department as FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, as opposed to domestic, as well as an additional 10 non-designated self-proclaimed branches and affiliates, okay? Including the Islamic State of Iraq, Sham, ISIS. We also have, of course, BRICS. But this kills me. Now, this just makes it even more complicated. BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. This new coalition. Now it's BRICS plus 6, plus Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, and the UAE. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Egypt, and the Emirates, the UAE. Wow. Hello, BRICS. Oh, by the way, the other groups, Islamic Jihad, PLO, Fatah, Hezbollah, Iranian, well, not Iran per se, but Palestinian Authority, Al-Aqsa Brigade. It goes on and on and on and on. It's just do you see the complexity? Have you sat down? Has anybody ever sat down with you on any of these shows? Anybody said, let me just explain this to you. Let me just explain this to you. This is what we have. These are organizations that don't have flags and don't have capitals, and these are people who are a part of a group, and they're called terrorists. Now, would you like to? They don't consider themselves that. You do know that, right? They don't consider themselves to be terrorists. They don't. They never have. They are not freedom fighters per se, but these are people who are doing something which is a little bit more interesting. It's fascinating to me. Fascinating. And I have an unabashed love of seeing, yes, not the nuance, but the various groups of it. And I'm not going to apologize. I want to know everything there is. See, because unless you think people are crazy, unless you think people are just out of their minds and nuts, you're never going to be able to figure out what's going on. You're never going to be able to figure out what's going on if you think that everybody is just crazy, and they're not crazy. You dig? They're not crazy. They don't lend themselves. They're not insane. They have a position. And it might be a lot of stuff, but it's not crazy. Sparky says, build a better world with bricks. Well, my friend Sparky, how many of you ever heard of that? Somebody asked last night, they said, what do you think is with a MBE with Mohammed bin Salman, MBS? What is he going to do? Before Biden. Oh, and by the way, whoever's telling Biden's response was perfect. Biden's response. No, you may not think so if you're, Palestinian, but from a political point of view, from a 2024 point of view, he was spot on with this one. It was, believe me, and Karine Jean-Pierre, unequivocal. AOC backed off of the squad. I ain't a part of that. Who was it? That fellow Jamal Bowman, the fellow, remember Mr. Fireplug? He said, "Oh no, I'm not a member of the. No, I'm not a member of the Democratic Socialists. No, I'm not. No, sorry, forget it. I'm done with it." They're recognizing this. To blame Israel for Hamas for killing people? See, this is just stupid. Sparky says many of these terrorist groups are funded and controlled by the CIA and other Five Eyes and affiliates. Do the Five Eyes and their affiliates get a pass? Well, they might certainly be assisted. One could very well say. Look at this. Crazy. 1-800-LINO now. Thank you so much. That might get some takers. Sparky, we can throw the CIA and Five Eyes into it, but there's let's just stick to a group of people who say no, we're funding this, we're doing this. How many of you have heard Mahmoud Abbas referred to as Abu Mazen? Have you heard this one before? Are you noticing? Do you say Abu Mazen? Nobody says Mahmoud Abbas, the head of the Palestinian Authority or the Palestinian president. Have you heard this one? Tell me you've heard this. Tell me. Have you noticed this? I did this years ago and wondered, who's Abu Mazen? He said, why don't you call him Mahmoud Abbas? Oh, no. Anybody hear this? Come on, tell me I'm not the only one who tell me you've come across this before. Tell me you've wondered. Tell me where you're saying, why are they calling him Abu Mazen? Tell me. Tell me. Yes, he is out of land. I don't know what that means. I guess I'm wasting my time with this one, huh? Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. I got the official reason today. Mahmoud Abbas is the Palestinian Authority president, but they call him Abu Mazen. And this is what's known in Arabic as a kunya, K-U-N-A, K-U-N-Y-A, excuse me. It's a kind of a nickname. And what Abu means is father of. And Mazen is the name of Abbas's firstborn son who died years ago. So this is a common moniker for Arab men with sons. So William Safire noticed that having sons is a matter of great pride in the Arab world. So a man is usually called father of, followed by the name of his eldest male heir. Abu Mazen, father of Mazen. Now, it's very interesting. If an Arab man has no sons, he can be called Abu, followed by his own father's name. And what's interesting about this is, then if he does have a son, the son is going to be named after his grandfather. I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm the only one who cares about it. Hang on a minute. Sparky says, no Five Eyes and affiliates, no Hamas. Again, not necessarily. Can't get rid of your mother-in-law? 1-800-LIONEL now. Thank you. I don't know what that means. I appreciate, Sparky, the fact that you are bringing this up, but do you know where Hamas comes from? Do you know where it comes from? Have you heard of this notion of where it comes from? Many people have said repeatedly and without any reference to this, that this was not created by, inspired by, supported by, you might want to say created by, okay, I'll let you go that far, by Israel itself and others, that it was a counterbalance. It was a counterbalance to Fatah and Arafat. And that it was a counterbalance that kind of got out of control. It was almost like, some might say, it was almost like a gain of function aspect of it. It was almost like it was created and then it kind of got out of control. Now let's talk about this. I have just appointed you, dear friend. You are on my council. And I am going to send you as a special envoy to fix this up. What do you do? How do we fix it? Let's see how good you are. Come on. Let's see how good you are. Let's go. I'm going to send you there, and I need your brilliance. Let's hear it. Where would you start first? What would you do? Let's see this. Use your genius right now. And by the way, we have, I need 400 likes, please. The main funders of Hamas is Germany, somebody says. Okay, great. How would you fix this? If you think that at this point, Germany funding this, that's a good one. But anyway, I'm not going to argue with you. What would you do? What would you do? It's very simple. See, people are, I love this, flatten everything. No, that's ridiculous. Think about it. What would you do? Let me tell you something. You don't know. And it's okay. You have no idea. You have no idea. You don't even know half of this stuff. And it's not your fault. It's not you. This isn't your thing. By the time we figured out Donetsk and Lugansk and the Donbass, now we're switching to this. I mean, you've got Zelensky now. He's playing He's siding with Israel. This is the funniest. The guy from the Ukrainian, the Stefan Bandera group, forget it. People don't get this. There is no answer for this. There is none. There's no answer. None of this. None of this. This is the thing which is the most important. None of this. There is not going to be an answer to this. Well, it's not so much the communist PLO. It had to do with the fact that it was a way of trying to go after the more secular to counterbalance, to have secular versus religious. Bad move all the way around. Let me answer this question. Do you think most people like Hamas? No. No. Absolutely not. Fatah doesn't like him. PLO doesn't like him. Palestinian Authority, they don't like this guy. This is not the way to do things. This is not it. And they're going to get their clocks clean because there is nothing. They might have had a lucky time, for instance, with, breaching the gates and everything. Okay, well, we've talked about that a million times. But if you think that somehow they're going to beat, there's no way they're going to beat Israel, period. So let's get this out of your mind. What happens next? Question 2. Is there a siege? Does Israel enter Gaza? Yes or no? Yes or no? Does Israel actually enter? This is the bottom line. And just look at this strategically. Look at it as a historian. Look at this as a politologist. Look at it as somebody who just understands what's going on. Do you see Israel going in? And what are the two factors involved? Necessity to root out, to obviously try to get rid of Hamas. Do you get rid of it? No, but you do this particular iteration of it. And also to satisfy, if you will, some type of, I don't want to say vengeance, but some type of response on behalf of Israeli citizens. So what do you do? How do you think this works? How? How does this work? Do you know what that's going to be like? This is going to be, I don't even want to think about this. Hamas wasn't liked by Palestinians before the invasion. You see, we're not talking about this. And by the way, Sparky, you're right about this. When you say lied, this is kind of moot at this particular point. But let's talk about the actual military going in. This is an area about 2 million people, the size of what? DC, within a country the size of New Jersey, right? You've heard that. What do? Door to door? What do they look like? What do they look like? Think about this. The first day is when you tell people, okay, someone who you really are. You don't want to look like you're trying too hard, but you want to look cool. J.C. Penney, thank you. The first day is when you tell people, okay, someone who you really are. This is very, very interesting. I like that. Thank you for that. I guess. And thank you, by the way. I don't mean to dismiss your generosity, which is very, very nice. I want to know this. What do you do? Okay, men, here's what we do. Start on this block. Let's go. What do they look like? What do you do? What's your intel going to be like? We still haven't figured out how the intel failed. Door to door? Door to door? Urban? I don't even want to think about this. Now, there are folks who are the most adamant, 100% pro-Israel, if there is, for lack of a better word, but to be absolutely sure in terms of clarity and limpidity of concept, they're saying this is going to be a disaster. What is this going to accomplish? But then again, What do you do if you don't? What do you do? You're not going to just flatten it. I love people who say this, flatten. You can't do this. I don't even know how. I can't imagine being in the Israeli military or operational theater of this to say, what do we do? This is they're here. They're right in there. What do we do? And there are people who in Hamas are going to want as much bloodshed, as much, not collateral damage. They want to create the story of some horrid disaster. This is insoluble. Now, that's at this level. That's at the Hamas level. What happens later on if Hezbollah kicks in? What happens then? What happens then? Tell me, what happens? How does that work? Right now, there is this jockeying for attention. They're being very, very careful not to say anything involving Iran. Iran has said for the longest time, we might have supported it. We didn't have anything to do with it. We didn't green light anything. We might have supported it, but we didn't green light it. What does that even mean? We didn't cause it. We said, A-OK, add a baby. And then there are other versions of this. They said, well, it might have been United States policies, the Abraham Accords. May have done. There's all kinds of ways of nuancing things. If you think that you can sit here and you can say that Hamas was basically fomented, created, propelled, accelerated by virtue of one particular form of behavior on somebody's part. No. But here's the best part. We still don't know. How did you have a makeshift city? How was all of this? I want to know for two reasons. Number one, I want to dispel any rumors of inside job, not false flag, but let it happen on purpose, lie hop. I want to get rid of that one. Got to get rid of that one because that's what people are saying. And conspiracy theories, when false, do more to focus, blame sometimes incorrectly. So that's number one. How did you do it? How are you going to prevent this again? What was learned from this? What does it say about fences and breaching? And there was a woman. She has a fascinating show. Her name is Efrat Fenigson. And she was explaining, she says that when she was with the IDF, she says she knew the security perimeter. If a cat were to breach the area, if a cat were to walk across us, alarms would go up. How did this happen? Okay, that's been played to death like you wouldn't believe. Okay. Let me throw some questions out to you. What happens to Hezbollah now? Lebanon. Who's going to push that? And Syria. And did you hear what Erdogan said and others? Now this is, I don't know if you think you're going to hear anybody saying anything even remotely in favor of Israel. It ain't going to happen. Not there. Imagine being Bibi Netanyahu. Whether you like him or not, I understand it. But whoever's in charge, you are surrounded. You have no friends. Nobody. You are in the middle. It's like the Helmand province. You know what I mean? You're right there. It's like when Americans went to Afghanistan, and they found out that there were people that the bad guys, the enemy, was basically targeting. They were in these bowls. What is this? It's insoluble. There's no way around this. They're not going away. It's going to be, what level is this in the second, third, fourth tier? Where is this going? Now you've emboldened people. They want more of this. This is nuts. If you don't think this could lead to a World War III in essence, absolutely. Because we're talking about oil. That changes the complexion of everything. Sparky says Alexander, Mercouris of the Duran and Glenn Deason interviewed Alistair Crook, a true expert in Middle East history. Was posted on the Duran today is worth checking out to understand the complexity and nuance. I saw that and I think they are absolutely wonderful. However, I would love to say to them, and I think they're very interesting in that they provide this notion of nuance. But any question I'm asking you, I could ask them. What happens next? I don't know. Who's in charge? Where is this going? Where's the battle lines? Where's the script? When are they going to be happy? What is the goal? Israel's not leaving, so what do you want? What is the deal? What is the okay? Is there anything that can ever be accomplished, ever be agreed to, that is even remotely? And Israel will tell you, we've already been through this. We've been through this. Who was it? Abba Ibn said that the Arabs never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. What do you want? If you want to spend some time, do yourself a favor. Spend some time watching every conceivable, what is it, channel, was it 24 or something? Watch Israeli TV, foreign TV, foreign it was, Chinese, Russian, French. Watch these wonderful specials about what the occupied areas are. What does that mean? What are settlements? How did this work? The history. The notion. Look at 2005. Look at what they did when they left. Israel left, abandoned, basically gave up Gaza. Here, it's yours. Run this. Take it. Do it. But then Gaza said, yeah, but you surrounded us. Well, what about our protection? What if we had a kind of a Beijing, or I don't know who you were, in the middle of Jersey? There's our enemy right there. I don't know. This doesn't have any corollary. What are you supposed to do? And I love this idea. I love listen, after Vietnam, we left. Got it. Even the troubles in Ireland, they worked it out. Thank God. Go through every war. There's no working this out. Look at me. Do you hear what I'm saying? There's no working this out. There's no solution. It is insoluble. We're just talking about stuff, waiting for the next and the next and the next iteration of warfare and carnage, because nobody's going to move. There are people who want to see this. And as long as you have these morons, when you're at a rally and you're talking death to people, I mean, this is bizarre. I don't care what side you're on, because we are demented. And I do want somebody to tell me. I like this very much, a show called The Rising. And they were having a hard time, at least initially, trying to discuss or to validate the storyline regarding these children. And it was horrible. And they were doing everything in their power to try to determine whether, in fact, it was true, whether it could be validated. Because I'm saying, please, dear whoever, tell me I don't share DNA with anybody who would do this to children. But then again, why? I've had shared DNA with people who've basically destroyed races of people for no reason, none, systematically, methodically, mechanistically, and proud of it, told the world, kept track of it. I don't use human intuition and genius to do this. We are demented. What are we screaming about? What is it? What is this all about? It's about land. It's about what is it? It's about land. So you get out. We were here first, or we have a claim to it. That's what this is about. That's it. I want to be here. You can't be here. You have a claim. No, I've got a claim. That's it. That's what this is about. And you can laugh all you want. You can say whatever. But then again, when you talk about something, this isn't a piece of land. This is homeland. This is tradition. This is history. This is where this is where my people are. See, we have no, and by the way, this goes for both sides or all sides. We have no concept of that because we have a country. Here it is. And it's divided up into states and counties, and that's it. We've taken another county. We don't understand this. This is the most important thing in the world to understand. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about land. We're talking about resolution of fatherland and roots, and we belong here. And this is my country and my family. They're buried here. This is who we are. That's it. How do you resolve that? John McGuire says, in a fairly small conflict in Ukraine, it's estimated at least 500,000 dead. Do you really think Americans would accept that level of dead because modern weapons are proving useless? Excellent question. We have, by the way, two things have happened, John. And by the way, thank you. John McGuire couldn't get higher. We've forgotten all about Ukraine. Why? We're not even talking about that. Why? It's not even brought up anymore. Zelensky's getting upset about it. We're talking about this. Not to mention, we're saying, hey, how come Hamas has all these weapons? How did that happen? That was supposed to go to you and Afghanistan. What about this black market business? No, we sold that to you. How did it get from you to the black market? What's going on? Anybody talking about that? Well, anyone? Of course not. So let me tell you something. Bottom line, one word. What's the end? What's the end? And don't say what you want to be. What's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? I think I've got an answer, and I think it's going to be good. That's what I think. But what do you think? Sparky says, I think that Bibi was self-regime changed. I think that Bibi has, whether self-regime changed. He'll be gone when things cool off a bit, and maybe the new person will do better. With Yitzhak Rabin, things were looking up, so it's possible. Sparky, do you think, and thank you for this excellent point, do you think this is about Bibi? Do you think Hamas is going to calm down? Do you think, well, now we've got whoever, so-and-so. Thank God you got rid of Bibi. It was about, do you think that matters? Do you? Do you? When you say World War III, what does that mean? World War III. Why would we have World War III? Why would that happen? Why? Here is the idea that I love. You ready for this? Good. Get ready. What I think I can see happening in my script is the following. MBS comes along and he says, you are going to be the Sultan. You are going to be the Saladin. You are going to be the great deliverer of peace to the world. You are going to sit down with everybody and say, now I'm in charge. And here's what we're going to do. I don't want enough. You're going to stop this crap. And so are you. And I'll get with Iran and we'll get with the BRICS people. And we will announce to the world some kind of something so that I get to be king of the world. So remember that magazine he put out, that big glossy, when he, remember that? He can run the show. The man who saved the world. If he says to Iran or anybody else, don't mess with me, you better tell Hamas, you better tell Hezbollah, you better tell all of your intermediary groups, There's a new sheriff in town. I'm the guy. It was Bibi's people who knocked off Rabin. Well, we know the story. The Likud, no, you're gonna the far right wing. You got to be careful with that. Listen, it's not that far fetched, but officially. But listen to what I'm saying. The man who saved the world, a man who says, "That's it. I can do it." Joe Biden can't do it. Donald Trump can't do it. And by the way, if Donald Trump were here, we wouldn't be having this problem. Believe me. Believe me. Because ever since Obama, they really didn't. They kind of looked at Israel as kind of like and Bibi as a pain in the ass. They kind of looked the other way. Believe it or not, there is no placating this group. There's no placating. But I can see it right now. MBS, this guy walks off with his robes and he sits down and he has these pictures and he gets the world together. And he says, I'm the guy with the oil. I can say whatever I want. You're going to do what I say. I can destroy you. Forget the old OPEC days. I'm the guy. Look what I did to my family. Remember, he locked up half his family. We're going to end it. And don't bring up Khashoggi either. We're going to end this. That's enough. And by the way, we're going to teach Israel a lesson. They're not going to get away with murder. But we're going to work this thing out. Why? Because they were this close before. They were this close before. They were great. Saudi Arabia was wonderful. Hey, the closest they've ever been. And then this happened. And that also made MBS look like, wait a minute, I thought you were in charge of this. Yeah, I did too. Well, how did this happen? What the hell am I dealing with you for? If you can't even control Hamas. Well, I'm not in charge of Hamas. What do you mean you're not in charge of Hamas? Well, who is? Well, I don't know. You're not in charge? I am now. See, that's the thing. Hamas is like they come in and they're like ghosts. You know, they come in and everybody else we know who they are, Palestinian Authority, Abu Mazen, we got this, we got that. And then the Al-Aqsa, and then you got these young kids with stuff. Oh, no. See, I would sit down with MBS and say, you've got to do something about your image. You've got to do something. You are being portrayed like you're living in the 14th century or something. What is the matter with you? Is this the way? Is this it? I know things are tough. I know things are horrible, and I'm not taking anything away from your claim. But are you? This is how many times are we hearing the word savagery? And you can say, I had nothing to do with that. Okay, maybe you didn't, but it doesn't look like that. Sparky, by the way, says, Bibi let it happen. He simply grossly underestimated how far Qatar-funded Hamas would get. But not only that, he might have said, but it's not just him. Remember this. But Sparky, had he recognized this, what is he supposed to do? That's a part of it, to be sure. But there was a momentum. Think of it as gain of function. Think of it as a virus. Think of it as a form of COVID, as something made in a lab. This thing. Whenever you find or think you have the answer, stop. It's wrong. Whenever you say it was Qatar finance, it was CIA finance, stop it. You're wrong. It's more than that. More than that. More than that. Because what it started off as is not what it metastasized into. No, you listen to me. This is the guy who can, if he calls the shots, if he says, I want order, we cannot live in an area without order. We can't do this. Bad for business. We look bad. We're not going to have this happen. That's enough. And by the way, we're going to bring Israel to the table too. Don't worry, it's not all about you. Because let me tell you something. You listen, wouldn't you love to have somebody right across the table, like an actual debate? Bibi, what do you say? Abu Mazen? And Mazen would say, Bibi, I'm with you. these Hamas people. Do you have? Let me explain something. Do you understand that this is nothing but a conspiracy theory? This is conspiracy among conspiracy. This is the most intertwined group of people you have ever seen in your life. There is nothing like this. It doesn't exist. It doesn't. It is Machiavellian. It is labyrinthine. It is the most complicated stuff you have ever seen in your life, and you can't. And it's to an effect. I'm sorry to say, insoluble. Sorry to say that. Well, dear friends, you have been wonderful. Thank you so very much. Thank you for this. Sparky, as usual, you are just, your insight is laser-like. John McGuire couldn't get higher. Thank you as well. And J.C. Penny, thank you for that most cryptic and rather recognized statement. And 1-800-LIONEL now, thank you for your inspiration as well. I want to thank you. Don't forget, dear friends, our friends at My Patriot Supply. Take 25% off a 3-month emergency food kit. Order now. This deal won't last forever. Here's the link, preparewithlionel.com. And then our buddy, that's right. I already said that one. Try this one. How about, I did the same thing twice. Let me try it again. Let me try this one. Let me try, here we go. My Pillow. MyPillow.com. Promo code Lionel. Get a free gift right now and look at the deals aplenty left and right. And let me tell you something. Mike Lindell is there and he's ready for you to call him at 800-645-4965. Look how fast he answers the phone. MyPillow.com. They are standing by ready to sell. Some of the greats. All right, dear friend. Have a great and glorious day. You are just terrific. Oh, is this brand new? This seems to be brand new. Sparky says, like the U.S. military, the Israel military has gotten slack and soft in recent times. They depend too much on AI intelligence analysis. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you. They have gotten a little bit, absolutely. That has been a frequent a source of complaint on their behalf. Because remember, you always need infantry. You always need door-to-door stuff. You need people with rifles and backpacks and people who actually can go out for the hard slog. It's brutal. And I hope that there is some way in the realm of possibility that there is no advance on Gaza. Because I'm going to tell you something to my friends who don't understand me or not. My only concern are the innocent people, mothers and fathers and old people and kids whose homes and dreams are shattered. They're the ones who suffer for this, not the people of the higher echelons, not the potentates and the big shots, but the people who live in these areas. That's what's sad. Absolutely. Whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Russia, whether it's this, it doesn't matter. That's what I feel. That's what I feel sorry for. And that's what makes me embarrassed as a human being to think we're doing this to each other. For what? For what? We can't get along. We can't. I know I sound like Rodney King. I better stop while I'm ahead. All right, dear friends, have a great and glorious day. See you tomorrow at 8 a.m. Thank you so much for your insight, your brilliance, your thought, your comments. See you tomorrow. And don't forget these words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya.